What's up, guys? Matt Brown here for thelines.com, playpicks.com. Going to talk to you about the Genesis Invitational. Yeah, it is golf season. It is golf betting season. We're done with football. We're moving on, and I'm so glad you're here to continue on betting here this season. And golf is so much fun, awesome sweat. You get more bang for your buck. You get 4 days out of one bet, so tons of fun whenever we're betting golf here. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button down below. We'll keep you going all through the season here. Of course, you're probably already doing that with the awesome NBA vids that we have going on as well. But if you're just joining us for the golf side of things, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. Let us know in the comment section who you're playing. If you have any questions, what bets you have in your account, stuff like that. Also, if you're brand new to golf betting, we also have a tips video on the channel as well. Should be popping up at some point about right now as well. And you can click on that and you can kind of get some tips on just how to bet golf just in general. Start out here with the Genesis Invitational, and this is really where a lot of guys who bet golf say that this is where the golf season starts. Whenever they head over to Riviera, man, this is a star-studded field here. We're talking about 121 golfers in the field. We have 20 of the top 30 in the world, 30 of the top 50, 24 of the top 34 in the current FedEx Cup standings. So we have a star-studded field, to say the least. As you see right here on your screen, you can see Dustin Johnson, Rahm, Justin Thomas, Xander, Morikawa, Bryson, Rory. They're all going to be here for this golf tournament. Now, Riviera, we'll skip on down here. We can take a look at the course stuff here. So Riv, it's a par 71, a little over 7,300 yards, as you can see right here. Purse, $9.3 million. Someone's going to win $1.67 million. Awesome. What we've got here, we got POA greens. So we are used to seeing POA greens over here on the West Coast swing for the PGA Tour, but, you know, a little bit trickier. Certainly not what guys putt on most of the year long. So something to consider as you go about handicapping this as well. So what we're looking at as well from this golf, from the course standpoint here, guys, is we're looking at a long course. So as I just mentioned, par 71 with the 7,322 yards. We're getting 7 par 4s of 445 yards or longer. Now, you really score here on the par 5s. It's a real short par 5 to start out and on hole 1. And then there's a couple of other par 4s, a 572 and a 589. But again, those 3 holes play the easiest on the course. So those are the holes that we are going to be, hopefully our guys can score on here. Hole 10, always a super fun one because they got to decide whether they want to try to drive the green or not, whether they're going to lay up or whether they're going to try to drive the green on hole 10, which is a par 4. And then, listen, it's a pretty long course as we're talking about here, especially compared to last week. So, about 14 iron shots are going to play at 150 yards or longer into the pins. So you're going to need some guys that are really good at their approach shots. So this is from Data Golf, as you can see right here. This is the radar plot for Riviera Country Club. You can see what's most important, and driving distance and approach are the 2 most important statistics historically here and predictively for people over at Riv. So we're going to look for guys with driving distance and guys with approach. Over here on PGAtour.com, you can easily find all of their stats right here. And we can see this is driving distance. And so whenever we take a look at driving distance, the tour average 295.5. No shock that Bryson is at the top here. Rory, Cameron Champ, Wyndham Clark, Matthew Wolff. You can see Luke List, Dustin Johnson. Sam Burns is up in the top 10. Joaquin Niemann up here in the top as well. So you can see Cam Davis and Will Zalatoris. These are all guys averaging well over 300 yards of drive. You can see, just a lot of longer hitters these days whenever it comes to driving the golf ball, because you can see we are scrolling down all the way until we get to golfer 76 and Byung-Hun on before we get someone who is not averaging 300 yards of drive, right? So, again, all this, you can find this information over on PGAtour.com. So if we look over here, this is courtesy of Fantasy National. If we can see right here, this is recent form at this tournament here for all these guys. So Dustin Johnson, you can see, has done historically super well at Riviera. 4th place, a 1st, 16th, 9th, and a 10th, which goes to why, if we go right here, you can see he is 5.5 to 1. In a field with 20 of the top 30 golfers in the world, Dustin Johnson is 5.5 to 1 to win the tournament. Going to be tough for me to pull the trigger there. You can see over here over on FanDuel, 5.5 to 1 as well. And then over here on MGM, 5.5 to 1 as well. Very, very tough for me to pull the trigger on a guy with a field so stacked, even if he has these type of results right here, which has been absolutely amazing over the last 5 years at this tournament. You can see Justin Thomas did get cut last year, but 2 years before that, a 2nd and a 9th. So has played well here. Rory McIlroy, as you would imagine, 4th and a 5th the last couple of years here. You can go down and you can see some of the guys that have historically had good turnouts here. Now, Kevin Na cut last year, 33rd before the year before that, cut way back in 2016, but a 4th and a 2nd. So something about this course does well for him. You can see Adam Hadwin's made the cut all of the last 5 years here. If we scroll down a little bit more, there's going to be a name that pops off the page here because it's so far down as far as like guys that we would, typically consider. And here it is, JB Holmes. He has made the cut all 5 years here, including an 11th in 2016 and a 1st in 2019. So that's what we get when we're looking at recent form. So as we were talking about Genesis, some of the stuff that we're looking for as far as is what I'm trying to plug into a model, right? Driving distance being first and foremost, approach being the second. You can see some of these, there's no real rhyme or reason actually for these winners. I mean, you can see Adam Scott, JB Holmes, Bubba Watson, Dustin Johnson, Bubba Watson again, James Hahn. If we kind of look at these guys, I mean, Adam Scott was 30 to 1 when he won last year. JB Holmes was 100 to 1 when he won 2 years ago. In 2018, Bubba Watson was about 50 to 1. DJ, when he won in 2017, was 8 to 1. So we do at least have, one kind of short shot here win. Bubba was 25 to 1 back in 2016. And then James Hahn was 200 to 1 back in 2015 whenever he won this thing. So you can see it's just a no real rhyme or reason for, what type of player wins this thing. We've seen everything from bomb long shots all the way to the absolute chalk and DJ win this thing. So, I built a model over here. And this is over on Fantasy National. Again, you can see this is the last 36 rounds. And so what I've done, this is just, this is the salary. It says salary is just actually like DraftKings DFS pricing or whatever. If you wanted to sort by that, I didn't sort by that. I sorted by my ranking, which puts in these individual statistics right here that I plugged in and weighted how I'm really looking forward to this tournament playing out. So look, driving distance first and foremost. It's a long course, and the rough hasn't been all that penal when it comes to historically over the last 3 years. So last few years, whether you hit the fairway or not, wasn't all that bad. It was actually in the top 5 least penal roughs of all in the PGA Tour. So I'm really looking for dudes who can get it out there and then go from there. So as you can see, weighted 30% in the model in driving distance. The next highest is approach because, again, like I said, there's going to be a lot of long irons into these holes. With the course being so long as it is, we're going to see a lot of these kind of 150, 175, maybe and a little bit more iron shots into these holes. So a weighted approach almost as much as driving distance. Off the tee, I'm kind of double dipping here with driving distance and off the tee. But this is just strokes gained off the tee. So this is at least guys that are doing it a little bit better. This isn't just raw distance. This is, strokes gained off the tee here. With par 5, as I mentioned, look at the course breakdown here. And again, this is also courtesy of Fantasy National. That opening par 5, hole 1, you can see average score 4.29. It is a scoring hole. 6.3% of the time you're getting eagles and nearly 60% of the time you're getting birdies. You come down to the next par 5 down here at hole 11, 4.72. It plays under par. Only 1% of the time eagles, but still 35% of the time you're getting birdies on this hole. Then we go down to the last par 5 right here at 17, big 589, but still 4.79, playing under par. Not many eagles, but 29%, nearly 30% birdies. So nearly 1 in 3 golfers going to be birdieing this hole. So that's why in the model, I weighted par 5 scoring, strokes gained par 5 as high as I did. So like 12%, nearly as high as off the tee. Because with those holes being the easiest holes on the course, I want guys that go out and score on par 5s. And so I wanted to weight that pretty important. We talked about being POA greens. Listen, West Coast greens, POA greens, the later it gets in a tournament, it starts getting bumpy and all things like that. I a little bit of weight on 3-putt avoidance. I don't want my guy blowing up on the green. I want him to just, if he's close, I want him to make the close ones. If he's far away, I want him to lag pretty good. I just don't want these big 3-putts here. So put that in there to at least have a little bit of a factor in 3-putt avoidance. And again, like I mentioned, there's going to be those big bomb par 4s on this course. As I mentioned when we were a little bit earlier, that there are 7 different par 4s of 445 yards or longer. So I put in, par 4s, 450 to 500 yards. I weighted that just a little bit. And then proximity, like I said, some of these long iron shots that are going to be coming in, I did put in proximity 150 to 175, just a little bit of weight in that as well. So what it comes out to is Dustin Johnson. Shocker. You mean the guy that's 5.5 to 1 comes out the best in the model? Yes, that's exactly what happened here. Tony Finau at second. Rahm, Burns, Wolf, Koepka, Watson, Zalatoris, Justin Thomas, Xander Schauffele, Joaquin Niemann, Cam Davis coming in the top 12. Now, again, this is the last 36 rounds. I can sort it by the last 24 rounds. And so when I do that, what we come up with is you'll see some same names, and like that's what we want to see, right? Like longer term, middle term. I can even sort this by 12 rounds, which I'll do in a second as well. And you can see DJ still at the top, Rahm still around, Zalatoris still around, Xander right there, Sam Burns, Finau, Wolf, Thomas, Niemann, all kind of right in that top there. You can see Cam Davis he was sitting at 18th on the 36 rounds model. He's sitting here at 16th on the 24 round model. Cam Davis, you can find, by the way, over here at DraftKings at 100 to 1. So you can see right here, Cam Davis, you can find at 100 to 1 in this tournament. So just something to think about. Cam Davis, a guy that keeps popping in my model. Again, that's not to say that the stats I'm looking at are the end all be all and are the right stats even, or I weighted it properly. It's just how I'm going about attacking this tournament. Pretty good success last year betting golf and hitting some outrights and stuff. So hopefully we continue it on in this season as well. If we go down to 12, we can take a look here and see how the model kind of like ranks out. So these are, obviously 12 rounds. If the guy made the cut, we're just talking about the last 3 tournaments that he's played, So this is real recent form here. And if you're big into real recent form, then that's what we're going to look at as well. No shock, DJ, again, he won over in Abu Dhabi. So, no shock that he's at the top again. But Bryson kind of gets up here a little bit further. But again, Xander, Joaquin Niemann, JT, Cam Davis again up here in the model. Really would even be higher but look, 3-putt avoidance, he 100th out of the field here of the golfers that I'm weighting. You can see right here, 81st in proximity, but he's just so good driving distance, and then he's really good here at par 4s, these long par 4s, really good off the tee and strokes gained. You can see good at approach as well, to where this, the 3-putt avoidance stuff. And you can take away some of the stuff as just noise, right? And especially putting is as streaky as anything, as any statistic. So if there's anything that I'll kind of look at and be able to kind of cast aside if I wanted to get on a guy, looking at this 3-putt stuff and looking at putting, really statistics in general, are the first thing that I'll kind of throw out. Because again, putting is just, how many lips did we see get burned this past week? It's the difference of a millimeter sometimes. And again, on these POA greens, these things are going to get all bumpy and crazy and stuff as it is anyway. So again, you can just continue to see a ton of these familiar names. Now, what we do see is Patrick Cantlay pop up into the top, 13 here, where he wasn't on the other. Now, Cantlay's been as consistent as anybody on tour. And Patrick Cantlay is going to be a guy that I'm going to mention here as far as bets that are already in my account. But you can see there's a couple of things that just have really pushed him down here on my model. And it's easy for me to kind of just disregard these things and look at these other numbers where awesome at approach, awesome off the tee, awesome gaining strokes on par fives. But you can see. So this 3-putt avoidance and this proximity 150 to 175 is what really like knocked him down here. I'm okay. The model's not the end all be all, right? It's just a guide, and you can go in and you can see, okay, he's awesome driving distance, awesome par fives, awesome whatever. So I can disregard these couple of different stats right here for him being this awesome and all the other ones. Cantlay is just a guy that I'm going to have exposure to this week, most likely just in a massive amount of exposure in him and head-to-heads, taking him and fading some of these other guys. But you can see some of these other guys' recent form that has been really, really good. As you imagine, Berger last week's winner, but you can see Max Homa up here, Cameron Tergali up here, Sam Burns continues to pop in a lot of these models of mine. So some of these names that you'll probably hear me mention here pretty soon. So, I mean, speaking of Berger, I mean, listen, the reason I'm probably not going to be on Berger this week, despite the fact that he's been awesome, is just the fact that he entered last week on the tour. He was 85th on the PGA Tour in scrambling, but he led the field last week in scrambling percentage at 88%. So, listen, he was on the right side of variance there. He got really, really hot. I would expect a regression to the mean there. That being said, that's 26 straight rounds of par or better for Daniel Berger. And so when you look at him, if you wanted to get on Daniel Berger, I mean, I guess I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you that you're crazy if you did want to play, Daniel Berger. But anyway, I probably will not be on Berger this week. Jordan Spieth is another guy that I think is going to be a pretty hot name when people start to look. I mean, 40-1 here at DraftKings. If we go over 40-1 at FanDuel, if we're over at BetMGM, he's just down to 33-1 over at BetMGM. Look, Spieth, here's his problem, and maybe he will fix it this week. And if he does, then he is going to be a force to be reckoned with here. But his problem is the fact that he has not been able to find fairways off the tee, and it has just been making everything harder on him. If you look this past week where, look, he T3'd, right? I mean, this past week, he had a great tournament at Phoenix. However, he was 59% driving accuracy. Daniel Berger, who won the tournament, 71%. Maverick McNeely, who was second, was 82%. Paul Casey, who was one stroke worse than him, was 79%. Jordan Spieth has just made golf harder on himself here recently. And so until he starts to find the fairways a little bit more, it's just going to be hard for me to bet on him. I mean, if you look at Data Golf's true strokes gained for Jordan Spieth, he has lost strokes off the tee in the last 8 events that he's played. Now, all that said, he has been in the 60s in 6 of his last 10 rounds. And if you think maybe he's turned a corner here, again, 40-1 is going to be your best price over here at DraftKings. I don't think I'm willing to go outright on him yet, but listen, a top 10 bet, 3.5-1 for Spieth is at least somewhat tempting. So bets I have in my account, I'm all over Colin Morikawa this week. If you take a look at some of the stuff here with Morikawa, and the stuff that I just, really like about him is he's one of the most elite iron players in the world, and great with his long irons. And let me find Morikawa. Where is he at here? There he is. So just absolutely elite. You can see right here. So in the proximity 150, 170, you can see he's in the top 21 right here in the last 12 rounds. You can see right over here he is 8th in strokes gained approach. This course, I believe, outside of the driving distance, it's really and truly going to be about the approach game. And so Colin Morikawa is not short by any stretch of the imagination. If we take a look, as we were talking about, look over here. So he's 290. So he's average on tour. Tour average is 295.5. He's 294. So he is average in the world. You can see right here, tour average 295.5. So he is your average length golfer, but then he is excellent with his long irons and with his approach shots and things like that. So I really, really like Morikawa. Look, he's only played 2 events this year, top 7 in both of the events that he played. He's a California kid, so he grew up on the West Coast, lives in Vegas, so he still plays out on the West Coast. He's a guy that is, used to these POA greens, has played on them a ton. And so, like Colin Morikawa, and really I'm going to be looking at Morikawa more in the matchups, right? So just about anywhere that I'm able to find Morikawa. Okay, so right here against Decky, you can get him at plus money versus Decky. Morikawa at plus money versus Decky for sure. Hideki Matsuyama just hasn't been able to put it together this year. He shoots one good round, and then it's usually 2.5 rounds of garbage and then a half round of mixed bag or something like that. He just hadn't been able to get it together. If I'm getting plus money on Colin Morikawa versus Hideki Matsuyama, I'm going to take that all day long. So Morikawa in matchups, if you can find him at your book and several other places like that, I would be. And again, what you can do is also bet these, at various books. So you can see right here, Morikawa and Hovland are paired up over here at FanDuel, and then you can see there'll be some matchups. Hadn't been listed yet over here on MGM, but they will be. So for me, I'm going to be on matchups with Morikawa. Some outrights I'm going to be on. I know those are the ones that you're really worried about. I'm not going to play any of these short shots, maybe to my detriment. But look, 5.5 to 1 on DJ, despite the fact that he's, number one in every model that I ran, the best golfer in the world, playing really good right now. He's still in a field. One golfer wins a tournament, and he's still in a field with 20 of the top 30 players in the world. He's still in a field with 30 of the top 50 players in the world. He's still in a field with 24 of the top 30 in the FedEx Cup standings right now. So I just can't pull the trigger on a 5.5 to 1 with him. I think the first guy that I'm actually going to play here this week is going to be Xander. And I know Xander hadn't been able to get it done. And I know Xander has not been able to win. But when you look at Xander, he just does everything really, really well. And that is like what that is just what you want me. You saw he was in the top 4 of every iteration of the model I ran. Look at this across the board here. I mean, he's in the top 25 of every single stat that I put in here. He's in the top 15 of all the ones, top 15 of approach, top 10 of off the tee. He's 4th overall, strokes gained par 5. If you look right here, he's in these long par 4s that we're going to be playing at this course. 8th overall in the field. Still 20th as far as driving distance, so he's not going to be that much shorter than everybody else. So, first guy I'm going to play is going to be Xander. He's 15.5 to 1 at DraftKings. If you look over here at, he's 15 there and then 14. So, DraftKings is your best price at 15.5 to 1 on Xander. From there, I'm actually going down in a good bit before I play another outright, and I'm going to play Joaquin Niemann. And I'm sure as I was running through those models, you guys kept seeing Joaquin Niemann's name keep popping over and over and over again. 2 second place finishes over in Hawaii. Ball striking is absolutely elite. In really, really good form right now as he enters this tournament. And like I said, just was a guy that just in every one of these models just kept popping over and over and over again. It didn't matter if I hit the last 12 rounds, last 24 rounds, last 36 rounds. Joaquin Niemann and his name keeps popping up all over the place. Now, with that, when I say I'm playing an outright on someone, I will always play an outright on someone, and then I'll play a top 5 with them as well. And sometimes I'll play a top 10 as well too. Listen, one guy wins a golf tournament. The way that we actually make money playing golf is betting these other markets, right? You can't just hit a golf tournament winner every single time. So these top 20, top 30 markets, I cannot stress enough how important they are. Now look, it's not as sexy of a price, but listen, if I get Niemann at plus 188 for a top 20 finish, that is good for me. That gets a bankroll builder. That keeps me level between, maybe hitting an outright here and there throughout the course of a season. And you're not just constantly bleeding money by betting nothing but outright over and over and over and over again. So again, Niemann at plus 188 for a top 20 finish. I also love, and you can just assume any of these guys I'm talking about, I'm going to have money sprinkled on them in either top 5s, top 10s, or top 20 markets as well. Another guy that I think that when we were sitting here talking about, over and over again, name kept popping up over and over again. Cam Davis. And this is a guy that, look, would be even higher if it wasn't for, these couple of categories in here where he is way, way down. Still 16th overall in my model that I've run, according to the things that I find important heading into this tournament. And Cam Davis is, 100 to 1 long shot bomb over on DraftKings. But, listen, give me they have top 30 markets over here as well, And so you can look, you're still getting plus money on Cam Davis to finish top 30. Cameron Davis plus 164 to finish top 30. So, I mean, these are the type of bets that can help you build your bankroll. So I love Cam Davis, top 30, top 20, top 10, stuff like that. Again, just continually popping up in my model over and over again. The next guy that continues to pop over and over again, another West Coast guy, another guy that has had some success here before is, I'll just go ahead and find him here. It's going to be Max Homa. Max Homa 70 to 1 outright at DraftKings. He is 60 to 1 at FanDuel, and he is, let's see if we can find Homa over here, 50 to 1 at MGM. So you're definitely want him at DraftKings at 70 to 1 if you want to play the outright on him. I'm more interested in some of these other markets, top 5, top 10 on Homa. You're still getting 5 to 1 on him at top 10. If you come over to the top 20 bet, you're still getting plus money on him to finish top 20. You're getting 2 to 1 on your money on Max Homa to finish top 20. Again, a guy that is continually popping up over and over again in my models. And really what's going on with him, and I'll find him here and show you. The real problem with him, as you can see, 100 here in the long par fours. Well, look, I can kind of throw that out. And again, proximity from these long irons, 75th, I can throw that out. But look at this other stuff. First overall in strokes gained par fives. Like we said, this is where you're trying to score in this tournament. Like those 3 par fives are the easiest holes on the entire course. He's number 1 in the field in strokes gained on par fives. So driving distance, he's long, 27th. So in the field, so 27th in the field here. I find it very important, as I mentioned, driving distance. And if he can just get right, a little bit more on the approach here, as you can see, I mean, he's about midway through the field here, and that I think Max Homa could make some noise here. So I do have Max Homa in the account and really like him. Again, top 20 at 2 to 1. These are the type of bets I really like making as well. The other guy that I have in the account that I really like is Patrick Cantlay. And listen, Cantlay is just about as steady a guy as you can possibly imagine. T3 this past week in Phoenix, even with the second round of 73, he was T3. That's 6 top 20 finishes in a row for him dating back to last fall. So, listen, with that type of consistency, I'm looking for matchups, and with that, listen, I'm getting plus money on Cantlay to beat Jon Rahm. Jon Rahm, if you guys have looked, I mean, listen, it was just another ho-hum kind of experience this past week. Jon Rahm switched irons, he switched driver, he switched putter, all kinds of things, and just hasn't been able to put 4 rounds together yet. Patrick Cantlay, again, about as consistent a golfer on the tour as there's been over the last couple of years. And I'm getting plus money again on Cantlay over Rahm. I'm going to take Cantlay over Rahm for the in head-to-heads as well. Really, really like him. And listen, not an automatic for a top 20, but nearly as automatic a top 20 bet as there is out there. You do got to lay a little bit at minus 136. But again, the guy just goes out and competes every single week. So really, really like him a ton. A couple of other outrights that I'll probably have in my account, again, as just bombs. And these are, try to limit my exposure to about 7 or 8 guys on the outright market each week so that I don't just bleed money all over the place. I think I'm going to have a Vic Hovland ticket at 35 to 1 is another guy that, again, that I just really like his game and how he's been matching up. Matthew Wolff at 80 to 1 is another guy that I'm probably going to have in my account as well. And Cameron Tringali, another guy that's been playing super, super well, and I can't just fade. I can't keep. Listen, I've had a ticket on Zalatoris every week. He was contended every week until the last couple of weeks whenever I had a ticket on him. Maybe I continue down that train yet again with him. And listen, if we're going to go with like course horses here, it is very hard to not like JB Holmes. Again, as we mentioned, made the cut 5 straight years here, including a win. And let's see if we can even, see, and he's 275 to 1. I mean, I'll go ahead and throw a few bucks on a guy that's 5 straight cuts here, including a win, at 275 to 1. He's super long, and maybe he can kind of find some magic here to get something done. But really, again, guys, the guys I'm really on: Morikawa in matchups, Morikawa in groups, Joaquin Niemann for top 20, Joaquin Niemann for top 10. If you want to throw an outright on him, go right ahead. I like Cam Davis, top 30, top 20, maybe a top 10 bet in there as well. Max Homa, same deal, top 30, top 20, those type bets, top 10 if you wanted to go there. Again, these are all guys if you want to throw an outright in on as well, by all means. I like Cantlay over Rahm in the head-to-heads. Cantlay really over anyone in head-to-heads. He's just been that incredibly consistent, and really, really like the way he plays. And then, again, like I said, I like an outright on Xander. He's about the shortest shot that I'm going to play this week as far as outrights go. Model loves him. All the things that I've been looking for loves him. And that's how I'm going to go about playing that. Again, full written breakdown over here, over on the lines as well. Again, you can find some great free information over on Data Golf. You can find some great free information over on PGA Tour.com as well. I mean, listen, just, all the kind of stuff that you're looking for, you can find over here as well. So be sure and take advantage of that. Again, if you are new to golf betting, there is a tips video on the channel as well. So be sure and watch that and see how you can go about making yourself a more profitable golf bettor as well. And guys, we're going to do this all season long. So keep tuning in. Go ahead and subscribe. You're not only get golf videos, you'll get NBA videos, you get everything that we do here on the channel. Everything's free. So that's all we're asking of you, is to go ahead and just hit the subscribe button. So that's all that's the only obligation we're asking from you guys. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up while you're here, and then let me know in the comment section which guys you like, which guys you're fading, what bets you already have in your account, what bets are you thinking about. If I add any more golfers, I'll be sure and put it into the comment section below. Good luck on all your bets at the Genesis Invitational.